Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on a piece of technology that is, well, hiding in plain sight. It shapes almost every single high-tech object you own. We're talking about the incredible, really precise power of cutting. So let's start carving away at how this all works. Just think for a second about the phone in your hand, or the intricate parts inside a car engine, or even a life-saving surgical tool. How on earth do they get those perfect, super complex shapes? Well, you might be surprised that the secret isn't about building something up. It's actually all about taking it away. And that really is the core idea here. It's a process called subtractive manufacturing. Basically, you start with a solid block of material, they call it a workpiece, and you just carve away everything you don't need with mind-boggling precision. Kind of like a sculptor who sees a statue inside a block of marble and just has to chip away the extra bits.
Okay, so how does this super high-tech carving actually happen? Well, that brings us right to our first section. What exactly is CNC milling?
At its heart, the idea of milling is actually beautifully simple. Just picture a spinning cutter covered in multiple super sharp teeth. This cutter moves across a block of material and just precisely shaves off these tiny layers to create a final, really complex shape.
Right, and here is where the real magic comes in. That CNC part, it stands for Computer Numerical Control. This is the digital brain of the whole operation. So instead of a person guiding the tool by hand, a computer is following a perfect 3D digital model, executing thousands of movements with flawless, repeatable accuracy. And if you look at this comparison, you can really see what a giant leap forward this is. A conventional machine, it needs constant human supervision. But a CNC machine, it can run 24/7. And where old school precision depended entirely on human skill, CNC is just perfect every single time. It's a total game changer for manufacturing.
So that incredible efficiency, that leads us directly to the real superpowers of this technology. Let's talk about the CNT advantage.
Just look at that number for a second. Plus or minus 1,000th of an inch. That is an insane level of accuracy. To put that in perspective, we're talking about tolerances that are a fraction of the width of a single human hair. It's not just precise, it's practically perfect. So it really all boils down to three key things. First, that superhuman precision we were just talking about. Second, just relentless speed. These machines don't get tired. They can work around the clock. And third, they can create these impossibly complex shapes that you couldn't even dream of making by hand. And this quote really nails another huge concept, repeatability. Because the machine is just following a digital blueprint, the very first part it makes is absolutely identical to the 1,000th part it makes. That consistency, that's the backbone of all modern mass production, everything from our phones to airplanes. But the power of CNC doesn't just stop with precision and speed. What's truly surprising, and maybe a little unexpected, is what it can actually cut. I mean, sure, it's a master of metals. It chews through things like steel and aluminum no problem, but its real power is in its versatility. CNC machines can expertly carve everything from really high-strength plastics to advanced composites, which are materials that are notoriously difficult to work with. And why does that matter so much? Well, because it gives engineers total freedom. They can pick the absolute best, most perfect material for any specific job, whether it needs to be incredibly strong, super lightweight, resistant to corrosion, or maybe all three. That material freedom is what drives real innovation. Okay, so let's connect all the dots. How does this technology actually, tangibly affect our lives? Let's take a look at how it's shaping our modern world. So take the aerospace industry. This is a field where there is absolutely zero room for error. The critical engine parts and structural components that are made with CNC milling are up to 20% more accurate than parts made with older methods. That is a massive leap in safety and in performance. Now, let's jump over to the automotive world, where it's all about efficiency and volume. By using CNC for things like engine blocks, car factories can increase their output by a staggering 30% every single day. But maybe the most critical impact of all is in medicine. For things like surgical tools and custom prosthetics, this level of precision reduces manufacturing defects by 10%. And when you're talking about surgery, that kind of precision, well, it saves lives. So from a business perspective, the case is crystal clear. The precision of CNC can slash errors by 45% and cut down on material waste by 25%. And all that efficiency, it translates directly into much healthier profit margins. It's not just better engineering, it's just smarter business. And the scale of this whole thing is just massive. The global CNC machine market is projected to be worth nearly $129 billion by 2026. This isn't some niche technology. It's a fundamental pillar of the entire global economy.
So it's kind of amazing when you think about it. By just starting with a solid block and cutting away the excess, we've unlocked a way to create the most precise and complex objects in our world. And that leaves us with one final, fascinating question. As this technology gets even smarter, even faster, what impossible things are we going to create next?